continue on this wild ride. But I mean cutscene hell.
Yep.
But when you're first watching this is like the first time it's like, oh shit.
True.
Chained.
So this is what Duke Cayenne looks like from up close. It's hard to believe that I've ended up in the same room as the leader of the Noble Alliance.
Kill him.
Stab him.
Although, I guess we did meet back in Legram before the war broke out.
Reen Schwarzer. Truth
It's
be
me.
told, we don't want this war to drag on any more than you do.
Really?
What do you mean, really?
We only acted as we did, due in part to our dearly departed Chancellor's behavior being far too unreasonable to justify turning a blind eye. He
Yeah.
garnered the trust of His Majesty, and in turn misused that trust. He flagrantly disregarded this nation's beloved culture and traditions, treating Erebonia as if it were his own personal property. Surely you too noticed this.
Well, I can't say I disagree. We did hear story after story during our field studies about how aggressive his policies were, about the way he didn't care how many enemies he made as a result, creating terrorist groups like the Imperial Liberation Front.
But as I said, the cause of our nation's ills is now gone.
Thanks, Crow.
Now, all that remains is to turn back the hands of time just a touch, and the good old days of the Empire will be upon us once more. The key to this bright future lies in putting aside our differences and joining hands. Am I wrong?
I'm afraid that yes, you are. Do you honestly believe that people can so easily put aside their differences after all the Alliance has done? You occupied Heimdall and effectively took every one of its citizens hostage, imprisoned the Imperial family. And let's not forget how you're now in league with the enemy nation responsible for the destruction of Garrelia Fortress. After all that, the Imperial army would never bow their heads to the likes of you, even if the rest of the population did.
My word, I'm afraid there's been a terrible misunderstanding. The Imperial family is simply under our loving protection.
Yeah, for protection.
Ah, okay.
But that does bring
So
me
you're
to
loving
the
hostage
reason
taking.
why
Got it.
I want you to help us.
It does?
The Azure Knight is already on our side. But if we had your Ashen Knight as well, that would mean we'd have two of the great knights of Erebonian legend to put into play. Couple them with our Panzer Soldats, and the Imperial Army's armored divisions would cower before us. You may not find us winning the war ideal, but this union benefits everyone more than carrying on until our inevitable victory,
I don't think it's that simple.
I beg to differ. The presence of Soldats units on a battlefield makes a tremendous difference. What they may lack in firepower and armor compared to tanks, they make up for in mobility and versatility. But more important than even those factors is the psychological impact they have on our opponents.
Well,
They are
You're
big
only
human.
Yeah.
As such, we are as captivated as we are terrified of giant beings bearing human form. And if that holds true even for mass-produced soldats made with modern technology, it will be all the more true for the divine knights of legend you and Crow possess.
Can't argue with that logic.
I will say it once more. Gileath Osborne is dead, and with his death, all that's left to be done is end this ridiculous war and return order to the Empire. Only then will everything be as it should. That includes both your pleasant academy life and the peaceful days of darling Elise and her friend the princess.
are you trying to...
Whatever you ultimately decide, their safety is guaranteed. I would ask that you promise him this, if nothing else, Your Grace.
But of course, I'm not a monster.
He's less of an ass than Eustace is dead.
We may
True.
stand on opposite sides of this conflict, but I still sit on Thor's board of directors, and in that capacity, I suggest you consider carefully the choice before you. After all, every soldier must decide for himself whether a cause is worth fighting, perhaps even dying for. I look forward to hearing your answer.
Yes, now just leave me alone on the enemy ship.
Sure, why not? What could go wrong? Never mind. They're not leaving him alone.
Masterine. Intermission. You excited to talk to a ton of people?
All 4 of them.
No, more like 27.
All 5 of them.
Yeah, there you go. You understand now. Chandelier does not have like, it's just a circle piece of, it's just a circle PNG.
Mm-hmm. Sure do be.
So okay, remember when in FF14 everyone was upset about the grapes?
Yeah, well, I don't remember them being upset about the grapes so much as, like, they were going away.
All that's left to be done is
No,
being
I thought it
updated.
was.
war and return order to
I
the
don't know.
Empire.
It's
Only
stupid
then
shit.
everything
Yeah.
will be as it should.
But yeah, they were pretty low poly grapes, and then they put better poly grapes.
Yeah, they did that because people complained, I thought.
I don't know.
I suggest you consider carefully the choice before you. After all, every soldier must decide for himself whether a cause is worth fighting, perhaps even dying for. I look forward to hearing your answer.
It's hard to argue that this war began because the noble faction went too far. The longer it goes on, the more people are going to suffer. Am I really okay with that? If I join them, I could reduce the number of victims, be friends with Crow again, free Elise and Princess Alphen. No, this isn't that simple. Think, Rain, think. I was able to reunite with the others, but Elise and Princess Alphen are still in the Alliance's custody. What's the best thing I can do? This isn't just about me. What do all of us want to do?
Keep racking your brain like that and smoke will start coming out of your ears.
Yo, look, they're gonna have a picnic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but he knocked.
Hey now, no need to give me that look. I figured I was gonna find you busy thinking everything over like your life depended on it. And what do you know? I was right.
How about you mind your own damn business? And don't you have better things to do with your time? I figured the glorious Azure Chevalier would be far too busy with the war to be hanging out around here.
It's tough being popular. If you joined us, I could get away with doing half the work I am now. So come on, stop freaking out about it so much and make a choice.
This isn't something I can just decide by flipping a coin, Crow. Besides, it'd probably be an easier choice if not for a certain someone. What's that in your hand, anyway?
ADD?
Grub, of course. Kinda early, but I brought you your lunch. Mind if I join you?
Yo, when's the last time I had a burger? Oh, that's a chicken burger?
Fish, maybe?
Burgers, fries, and onion rings, huh?
That's definitely not a hamburger.
That's a translation right there.
Yeah.
I was expecting something more fancy like I had last night.
Oh, that kind of food more your thing? Okay then, give me a minute while I go ask the chef to whip something up.
No, this is fine. The burger looks delicious.
Cool.
It's
All
a burger.
Burger.
Yo, green drink though.
This tastes kind of different from a normal burger. Oh, no wonder. It's got.
Okay, never mind. They get the pass. It's not a translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called fish burgers. Pretty good, right?
Yeah, the tartar sauce makes for an unusual extra flavoring too.
I'll pass on that, thanks. Not a fan
Yeah,
of tartar
same.
sauce.
Well, I'm not a fan of fish.
I like this way more than the food I had last night, to be honest.
Well, glad to hear. Guess it was worth putting my cooking skills to the test after all.
Wait, you made this?
Was my first time cooking in a while, too. Sharon could probably do better, though. But I wanted to give it a shot anyway. This stuff was like soul food back in Dry, where I grew up.
Oh.
To think, all the time we spent searching for the leader of the Imperial Liberation Front, And he was right under our noses. Crow Armbrust from the Jirai SEZ.
Oh, yeah. Vita was using some weird thing of hers to let you see what was going on, wasn't she? So I guess you saw what happened there.
Yeah. Jirai was that special economic zone in the Northwest you guys went to during our August field study, too.
Not a noble. 8 years ago.
So you ended up going back to your old hometown then?
Yeah, by pure coincidence. It's changed a lot since I was last there, so it was kind of surreal being back again. But it was nostalgic in its own way, too.
It's been bugging me for a long time now. What could have made you want to join a group of terrorists like the Imperial Liberation Front? What was it that made you hate Chancellor Osborne that much? Enough to take his life? Tell me, Crow. Please. I want to know what it was that made you who you are now.
Well, you see, when
Place
a mom and a dad.
you lived there,
Right.
and what you were doing before you entered the academy and met Toa, Angelica, and George.
Where's the fun in prying into a guy's past? Save all that talk for your number one in class. Who's the lucky girl anyway? Elisa? Laura? Emma? Fee? And don't tell me it's Milliam, because, you know, it...
I'm serious, Crow. I really want to know. Think of
What do you think
Tony
the green
in
drink
past
is? Do you think it's just soda?
paying off the interest you owe in that 50 mira. Because until
No idea. Maybe it's
until
Surge.
We know. We won't
Yeah.
be able to move forward.
You're really
He's a Mountain Dew man.
Crow?
My past really isn't that big of a deal, you know. It's got nothing on yours, that's for sure. If you find yourself thinking that's all when I'm done, well, I warned you. So, you really want to know?
Yeah. Nothing you say will change my mind. Please, tell me.
All right, you win. Like I said, it's just your run-of-the-mill sob story. Pick up any history textbook and you'll probably find a dozen others just like it. It's the kind of story that's so common no one bothers to remember it, like it never even happened. Back in those days, Jirai was known as Jirai City. It
Yo.
was a city-state off the coast of northwest Zemuria that prospered through maritime trade with West Erebonia, North Ambria, and Remiferia. It had a population of around 150,000 people, so it wasn't exactly a big place or anything.
It's that small.
Because of that, the surrounding nations left it alone and let us live out our days in peace. We were pretty fortunate, all things considered, until about 20 years ago. That was when the North Ambrian disaster struck, and much of the Principality of North Ambria was turned to salt. And as a result, trade on the northwest shore was reduced to virtually nothing. Day after day, Jirai's prosperity started to fade away. Still, it wasn't all bad. We had our fishing, our historic landmarks, our Septia mine. We could make use of those to get trade going again, both to keep our state running and to help out North Ambria. In fact, the one who advocated that approach was the mayor, my grandfather. He was the last mayor Jirai City ever had. He was a stubborn old bastard, but he had this wry sense of humor, and was well loved by everyone. I lost my mom and dad early, so he was also my only living relative. He taught me just about everything a guy could know.
Beer, cards, and
He was like a mom, dad, and
Hell
an
yeah.
old master rolled into one, I guess. Anyway, fast forward to 10 years ago. Out of nowhere, we received this proposal from the Erebonian government. They said they wanted to extend a railway line from Heimdall all the way to Jirai. We relied on the sea for trade before, but there wasn't any reason to believe we couldn't benefit from being connected to Heimdall by rail. The proposal drew overwhelming support from the city's council, and as a result, my grandfather was forced to accept. Within a year, the city had all of its old life back and then some. The streets were more bustling than ever. But keep in mind, this was the result of huge amounts of imperial capital flowing into the city. Land and buildings we once treasured were bought up left and right. Everything became a target for investment. People only cared about making money.
that sounds like the U.S.
Something
Yeah, it sounds like people.
happened in Crossbell too, but unlike there, no opposition existed in Jirai. My grandfather sensed something was off, and he tried what he could to get the situation under control. Then one day, someone blew up the railway line leading to Jirai. Everyone demanded that it be repaired as quickly as possible. Everyone except the Imperial government. Instead, they panned our national security arrangements for being insufficient and threatened to withdraw all Imperial capital. The city was left in an uproar like we'd never seen. Shares plummeted, and with no one able to ascertain the culprit's identity, chaos reigned. That was when he showed up. Chancellor Gileath Osborne, in his 3rd year as representative of the Imperial government, personally came to Jirai. We then received a second proposal.
The restoration of the railway and its future security will be seen to by the Imperial Army. In return for our continued assistance in safekeeping, Jirai will come under the wing of our glorious empire and attain even greater prosperity as a special economic zone.
The timing was too good to be true, really. Realizing this, my grandfather staunchly opposed the idea. He tried everything he could to convince the city's council to reject the offer. Unfortunately, once you taste the sweet fruit of prosperity, it's hard to want to go back.
It's true. Just like Oreos.
The council,
Sure.
made up of influential merchants and all their greed, jumped at the offer. And tempted by the elimination of customs, together with the tax breaks from being an SEZ, many of the citizens did too. And during all that, they'd conveniently found a suspect behind the railway incident, my grandfather. He loved Jirai more than anyone, and up till then, its people loved him too. And yet, virtually overnight, he found himself facing the wrath of both the city's council and the citizens alike. Left with no choice, he resigned from his position as mayor, and Jirai formally became part of the empire. Both of these things happened on the same exact day. That was 8 years ago. Naturally, everyone knew my grandfather wasn't the one who did it. They knew who was really responsible. They just turned a blind eye to the truth. See? I warned you. Just your run-of-the-mill sob story.
I don't know what to say, Crow. What happened to him after that? Your grandfather.
One day, he just up and died.
What a way to put it.
He just died. He just fucking died.
Once he resigned, the whole affair with the railway getting blown up was all but forgotten. He lived comfortably in retirement for about half a year, fell ill, and that was that. He just lost the will to go on, I guess. Like I said, he was the only family I had. I mean, I had plenty of friends even then, but I chose to leave it all behind. I was 13 at the time. I wandered the land, doing whatever I had to get by. That was when I met old Cayenne, who happily indulged my hatred for the Chancellor. And with his financial backing, I went out with the goal to find others who were just like me. That was the beginning of the Imperial Liberation Front. Gideon, Scarlet, and Vulcan were among those I recruited. I'd also met Vita then. I only knew her as the woman who would often come to see Cayenne. She guided me to a place below the city of Ordis, and there slept the Azure Knight Ordine. One after
Go, big
another, I
Ordine.
overcame the same trials you did with your friends, but alone.
He's like, I'm just better. I did it all.
And once I'd proven myself worthy, Ordine accepted me as his awakener. That was 3 years ago. I was 16. My preparations complete, I concealed my background and enrolled in a military academy near the capital. Everything I did for the sole purpose of taking the Chancellor's head. Come on now, what's with the face? You look sadder about all this than I do.
Yeah, I guess.
I swear. I'm not trying to tell you the Chancellor was evil or anything.
What?
Still, there's no denying that he managed to outwit my grandfather. And he may have lost, but Pops always loved a good gamble. It's thanks to him that I'm pretty good at chess, card games, that kind of stuff. I'd say it's fairly normal for a student to want to avenge his master's defeat, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
At the end of the day, there's no denying this country has problems, and the Chancellor's methods were making them worse. I studied those problems, worked out how to use the situation to my advantage, and then won the game with an all-or-nothing gamble. But when you think of how peaceful Jirai is now, I'd say I've got a duty to clear up the mess left behind by my game too, which means ending this war and restoring peace. So it's only when that's done that my game is truly over.
Damn.
I don't want whatever
killed.
your decision is to be influenced
Dead.
by my past, okay? Like Rufus said, You need to think long and hard about what it is you're fighting for. For you, more than anyone else.
Yeah, but Crow.
Anyway, I think I've stuck around here
Rip
for long
Sparrow.
enough. You're gonna be treated as a visitor. Well, sort of. It's about time for the higher-ups to head back to Heimdall, so go ahead and pass the time however you want.
However I want.
Bye bye.
Later, nerds.
Zoom.
There'll be no guards outside your room, so if you want to try and escape, be my guest. Just keep in mind that some members of Ouroboros and Zephyr are on board too. Not to mention me, Scarlet, and Vulcan. So if you're up for a gamble of your own, get ready to take all of us on.
Sounds fun.
Oh yeah, one more thing. There's this real cute visitor in the guest of honors room on the second floor. I think she'd perk right up if she saw you. So why not go pay her a visit? Just don't go making your girl jealous, okay?
Uh-oh.
I wonder who he means.
Who does he mean?
I mean, it's either his sister or the princess, but it's probably the princess.
Come back soon.
Yeah.
Right now, I need to gather as much information as I can. I can make my choice after that. At least then, it'll be an informed one.
You have the backstory, though.
Yay.
Yay! Alright, we're free, kind of, ish.
I can send someone inside.
It only took 19 hours.
Open.
That sounds like... Excuse me.
Give or take. I don't know how long this current playthrough is. What's up, Vulcan?
Oh, it's you. You finished talking with C?
His name's Crow, not C, and he's never going to be anything else for me.
Oh, I know his real name, but to us, he's always gonna be C. That's our leader. You might be young, but each and every one of us look up to him and respect him. Anyway, take a seat. Got a whole lot of questions, I bet.
They're all just cool talking to him.
You're willing to answer them?
Depends on the questions.
Just out of curiosity, how many members does the Imperial Liberation Front have left? I know the explosion back in the mine was staged, obviously.
Sure was. Anyway, 10, give or take. We lost most of our members as soon as the war started kicking into gear.
Oh. Is that because the group's primary objective had been fulfilled?
Basically, yeah. We all came from different backgrounds. But the one thing we had in common was that we hated that bastard's guts. So after he'd kicked it, most of the guys didn't really have any reason for sticking around. Can't say I blame him for calling it quits.
Crow said that seeing this war through to its end was the last part of his game. Are the members who haven't left sticking around for similar reasons?
Interesting question. Can't speak for the others, but me, I don't really care how this war goes. I mean, I'm a former Jaeger who can hold his own in a fight. I've always lived for war.
That's in fact what they
Teaching
do.
those dumbasses in
True.
the provincial armies how to pilot soldats is a job worth doing, even if it's a pain. If we disband, I'll find myself something else to do.
I see. I can't defend the assassination of the Chancellor or what you did near Trista, but I'd be happy if you chose to disband at least.
You're a funny kid, being oddly nice to us after all the shit we caused, don't you think?
The cycle of
I
hatred's
forgot
gone
that
on
they
for
swear
long.
in. Like all the shit we caused. Like, wait, hang on.
No one wants this war to go on longer than it has to.
I like this guy already.
You want war, do you?
Although I shouldn't say already. It's been a
That's
long
enough.
time, but
You
yeah.
have time to worry about us. Use it to worry about yourself. Whether you choose to side with the Alliance or go against them, you've got a tough road ahead, whether you like it or not. Make sure to think long and hard before you decide. And if we end up as enemies again, show me what you got. On the battlefield, I mean.
Hey, what else would you mean?
I
You
don't know.
man has 2 beds.
Think I might have been too harsh on the kid. Still, yeah, he's probably perfect for the job.
What job?
He saw right through. He's not wrong, though. I should be worrying about myself right now. He seemed kind of different, though. Like he'd lost his spark. His sole
Yeah.
objective in life seemed to be to get revenge for his old Jaeger Corps
Yeah, a little
killed by
bit.
Osborn. Maybe he's just not sure what to do with himself now that he's done just that?
How many more of these are there? Yeah, I thought so.
A lot.
I can sense someone.
Lots of
judging
story.
By the fact that V.
Yeah, this is probably S.
Come on in if you like.
Excuse me.
Dude, you guys got
Hello
any
there,
TVs on here?
I'd heard you came on board yesterday, so I did
No.
wonder whether we would run into one another at some point.
Hello, Scarlet. Last time we spoke was a month and a half ago near Trista, I think.
Quite a memorable day for both of us, wasn't it? There's no need to stand over there. Come and have a seat. I'll pour us some tea.
You really don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess there's no harm in chatting for a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be basically all of what you're doing here, Reen, is just chatting for a bit.
Yeah, true.
These tea leaves really are wonderful, aren't they? Only the best for the airship of Erebonia's most powerful noble, I suppose.
I have to admit, the fragrance is like no tea I've ever had before. You're right, though. It makes sense if it's something Duke Cayenne personally chose.
Oh? I was under the impression that your family is a part of the nobility, too. Your father is a baron, isn't he?
He might be a noble, but generally barons aren't all that wealthy. We live a relatively modest lifestyle.
Oh, really?
I have a
I
maid.
wouldn't have thought it before.
True.
but
Oh, no, they
maybe
don't.
my family
Well,
was
they
actually more
have a
well off
Sharon,
than
but
yours.
like,
Yeah.
And Scarlet, I heard she lost her old hometown when he went and built a railway through it.
What kind of family did you come from then?
Oh, they weren't nobles, if that's what you're wondering. They were just relatively wealthy farmers. We were almost local celebrities in a way.
Oh.
and then I got this eye patch.
You're wondering how someone like me became a terrorist? It's written all over your face.
Well, I can't deny that I'm curious. I heard that you lost your hometown because Osborn built a railway through it.
Oh, did C tell you? No, I suppose it must have been V. He never was one to keep quiet about things.
So, I mean, what happened?
Some things are best left unsaid, I think. It's not as if knowing would somehow allow you to change things.
I suppose.
You're so adorable, Reen. Now I know why C took a liking to you. What do you say? How about you come and fight with me and the other big girls and boys? It'll be fun, I promise.
Please stop teasing me. Anyway, thank you for the tea. It wasn't just made with high quality leaves. It was brewed exceptionally too.
You're very welcome.
Oh, actually, I may as well ask while I have the chance. Where did you learn how to use that weapon of yours anyway? It's pretty unique.
Oh, that?
I
suppose
forgot
I'd
about
have
that.
To tell you. The holy city of Arteria.
The Arteria? Where the high seat of the Septian Church is?
That's the one. It's called a Templar sword, and it's a traditional weapon in the church. A few years ago, I was studying to be a sister and was trained in how to use it there.
Surely you must be talking about some other church, right? You're telling me there are sisters in the Septian Church who use
Yes.
weapons like
Go
that?
play Trails in the Sky the Third.
There are more things in this world you don't know than you could possibly imagine. Well, it doesn't matter much now. I ended up returning to Erebonia before my training was complete.
Oh?
Anyway, that's all I
Okay, she does have like a dimple or like a wart right to the right of, or on her mouth, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you the full
Okay,
story if
I
you
see.
prefer.
I've been
Beard
so
mark,
unsure this
yeah.
entire time if it was like a speck of dust on my monitor.
Well, that way has its own charms, I suppose.
Because I've been meaning to clean it because like every now and then I see something on it and I'm like, yeah, I need to clean that. I was just making sure it wasn't that.
A lot friendlier than I expected her to be. I wonder how much of what she was saying about being a sister was true. She seemed to really hate the Chancellor. I wonder what she intends to do now that he's gone.